Today, June 16th, and I'm doing a little live stream here for you guys because I have some things I want to say. My dad just sent me a link to this a few minutes ago. I knew about this Pastor Stevens getting arrested, but this is really interesting how they hunted him down with a helicopter to find his secret outdoor church meeting. This is even more insane than I imagined. It's crazy. And the thing I wanted to comment on especially is how the officers used quotes from the Bible. This officer, if you watch the video, I don't know if the video's on here. No. Oh, there it is. Yeah, but I don't have the audio set up. So you go watch this video. You can also find it probably on YouTube. And the pastor, the officer says a couple things. He says, Jesus said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar. The Bible says where 2 or 3 or more are gathered, there I am also. So we don't need a big church gathering. And I think those might be the only 2 Bible verses, but it's really insane how people quote the Bible. People that don't have any interest in following the Bible quote the Bible as justification to Christians, as if that's going to somehow make us say, "Oh, okay, well the Bible, you got me there." That's not how this works. It's not how this works at all. So anyway, yeah, be praying for Pastor Stevens. God is being glorified, and the church is prevailing, and we have a promise from Jesus himself that will happen. So keep praying for them, though. That's tough. Persecution. I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to go to my Gab feed and just scroll through and just see if there's anything I want to comment on. This isn't really what I came here to comment. I have actually a topic I want to address, but just thought I'd scroll through here. Let's see, the SBC. So I am my friends group, my little echo chamber has a lot of Southern Baptist in it, so you'll probably see like stuff like that. So yeah, SBC convention. I don't have time to comment on all this. My employer is mandating a COVID vaccine. Okay, yeah, that's the way we have worshipped this COVID vaccine is insane. We've gone insane. Okay, this is Tim Stevens, what we've already talked about. What's this? President Joe Biden's administration announced their plans to create ways for Americans to report radicalized friends and family to the government in an effort to fight domestic terrorism. Of course they have. Well, they already have this? It's called social media. They have. Well, maybe they need some more control over it, right? The FBI needs their own network instead of relying on Facebook to gather their information for them. But yeah, okay. So well, I definitely would be reported, I'm sure, by some people to this. All right. Well, there, I found something to comment on Gab. Let's go on to my topic of the day. So I wanted to talk about appeasers and compromisers. I get people that say to me, how in the world did we get in the place where the people we have chosen, the people we've gotten behind, have compromised and have allowed these things to happen? Why aren't they fighting for us? The people that we put our trust in and voted for end up finding that they are weasels. And how did this happen? How did we get duped? And so the question is, how do we prevent it from happening again? Like, what are we going to do about it? And I just wanted to give a little bit of advice. One of the things I suggest you do about it is watch for signs of compromise in the people that you choose to be your leaders, or people you choose to get behind or platform. And do not get behind or promote or platform or elect to be a leader anybody who shows the signs of being a spineless compromiser. And compromisers are important. They play an important role for anybody who wants to be revolutionary or cause a big social change, or anybody that wants to advance any agenda that is going to be resisted by the populace. They need compromisers. You can't have everybody be, if you're trying to push something that's outside the what they call the Overton window, if you want to get something that's outside the area of acceptability in ideas for the general population, it's something that's generally rejected by the mass population, but you want it to become mass acceptable, right? You want it to become mainstream. You need some people that actually are on the other side, that play the role of compromiser in order to introduce your ideas into the mainstream. So compromisers are needed by revolutionaries and those types of people. So they promote, they don't promote the evil. They actually will oppose it, but then they'll concede, and they'll have a strategy to try to win over the other side by placating them. And sometimes they do that because they sincerely believe that they can vote or they can woo the other side with their niceness. And sometimes they do it secretly. Sometimes they do it openly. Hold on just a moment. This is constantly playing out in the public field, in any realm of ideas, that you can see the signs of it happening. What they do is, in politics, you'll see it where someone who always criticizes the base that they claim to come from. So like you'll have a conservative who always criticizes conservatives in an effort to win some credibility with those further to the left, and always take a tone of thoughtful engagement with the left, but be quick to turn around and agree with criticisms of the right. And they'll say things like, we don't want to issue words of criticism until we've spent a lot of time, criticism of the other side, until we've spent a lot of time affirming them and earning their respect. They'll say things like, well, nobody's going to listen to you if you come out the gates calling their position bad or evil or stupid. If you start off just calling their ideas wrong without gaining an audience with them first, then you're going to get nowhere. That's their stated claim, but it's not proven necessarily. They just come out and assert that. they always ascribe good faith to those they're disagreeing with. They'll say things like, well, I totally agree with the heart behind what you're saying, and I agree with your motives. I totally think that you're engaging us in good faith, and I know that you want the best for us and all that. But then they'll turn around and criticize, in my example, this is someone who's coming from conservative, right? They'll turn around and criticize the conservatives and say, well, I definitely do agree that there's a lot of bad faith. There's a lot of people with bad motives on our side. And what they're doing is they're just beginning compromising. And they'll also turn to people on the right and say, hey, why are you afraid of the other side? And they'll assume that there's a fear motive. Don't you know that that God's in control? Don't you know that our side's going to win? So why are you afraid of them? What are you? Let's not be so afraid. And just they'll attack motives by saying maybe you're just trying to make a name for yourself. You're trying to come out here and criticize people because you want to notoriety. But in reality, what they're doing is they're trying to make a name for themselves on the other side. They're trying to make a name for themselves on the left, saying, well, we're going to gain credibility by talking negative about the conservatives. And you got to watch people's behavior to see if they're acting like this, because if they do, then they're not the kind of leader you want. They're someone whose primary objective is to win credibility with the other side. They've already lost at the very beginning, and all they're doing is they're moving everything to the other side. They're compromisers. They're playing that necessary role of compromise. And what they're trying to do is trying to not persuade the other side of the credibility of your ideas, but they're actually trying to persuade the other side that they're a nice person. But that's not going to move the needle at all. That's not going to change anything. Also, these people, pay attention if they get criticized by the other side. If they get criticized by, like in my example, a conservative gets criticized by liberals, and they take the criticism as they say, well, this is, I really sincerely are considering your criticism, and I'm taking the time to self-reflect. And they're accepting that criticism as an opportunity of self-reflection and to try to check myself. But when they get criticized by their base, it's always this attacking their motives again. That's definitely a sign of a compromiser. The compromiser always follows the mainstream narrative, whatever is the popular way of viewing what's happening. They're always reactionary. They don't ever bring up the issues that are going to be talked about or that we're going to be rallying behind, but instead they react to whatever is in the mainstream narrative, and they try to Christianize or conservatize. They try to take the mainstream narrative and just add a little bit of flavor to it that is more appealing to their base. Well, that's not a leader. That's a compromiser. So they never lead out. They always follow, and they only follow by taking what everybody else is already doing and tweaking it a little bit to make it more appealing to their conservative base or Christian base or what have you. They always say what they're doing is prudent and wise. They always have this, they speak of their own motives as pure, as a defense for what they're doing. But then they question the motives of anybody who disagrees with them as being brash and irresponsible and the opposite of that. Always focusing on motives as opposed to substance. These are things to look for. If you see these signs in any leader, do not follow them. Do not platform them. Do not elect them, whatever the context might be. The promoters of evil things need appeasers in order to advance their agendas. And so that means at times it's necessary to call out someone who appears to be a compromiser. Sometimes it is necessary, and it looks like friendly fire when you do, but sometimes it's necessary because you cannot let them be agents for transformation, agents for revolution from the other side. And so that's my bit of advice to you this Wednesday, and I'm going to end it there with a Bible reading. I'm going to read Joshua 1. Let's see. 7. Yeah, Joshua 1:7 and through verse 9. Only be strong. Excuse me. Only be strong and very courageous. Be careful to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or the left, so that you may have success wherever you go. The book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have success. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not tremble or be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Have a blessed day, and Christ is King.